The Whisper Child. The village of Eldmere nestled between mist-laden hills, its cobbled streets quiet except for the occasional clatter of a cart. In the smallest cottage, with ivy crawling up its stone walls, a boy named Illy sat by the fire, his eyes fixed on the flames. His mother, Mara, stirred a pot of stew, her hands trembling slightly whenever she glanced at him. Illy tilted his head as if listening to something distant. "The blacksmith's horse will stumble tomorrow," he murmured. His voice was soft, but Mara's spoon clattered against the pot. The last time he'd spoken like this, the miller's daughter had fallen ill the very next day. Mara knelt before him, gripping his shoulders. "Illy, you mustn't say such things." But the boy's gaze remained unfocused, his lips parting again. "The river will rise after the new moon," he whispered. A chill crept up Mara's spine. The river hadn't flooded in decades. By morning, the village buzzed with news the blacksmith's mare had thrown a shoe on the northern path, just as Illy had said. Mara watched from her window as neighbors gathered outside, their voices hushed but urgent. Some clutched charms, others glared at her door. The village elder, Haldor, came at dusk, his cloak damp with drizzle. "The boy's words are more than luck," he said, his voice gravelly. Mara barred the door after he left, but not before hearing him mutter, "Prophecy is a dangerous gift." Illy woke screaming that night, his small hands clawing at the air. "Fire in the sky," he sobbed. Mara held him tight, her own heart racing. Outside, the stars burned cold and silent. No fire, not yet. Days passed and the river swelled, creeping over its banks. Families hauled their belongings to higher ground, their whispers trailing after Illy like shadows. "Which child?" someone hissed. Mara pulled him closer, her fingers digging into his coat. Then came the travelers, hooded figures with silver pins on their cloaks. They asked about the boy who knew things. Mara lied, saying he was sickly simple, but their eyes lingered on Illy, calculating. That night she packed their few belongings. They fled under a moonless sky, Illy's hand clutching hers. "They'll follow," he said, matter of fact. Mara didn't ask how he knew. The wind carried the distant howl of hounds, and she ran faster. At dawn they reached the old watchtower, its stones crumbling but its height still commanding the valley. Illy climbed to the top, his breath fogging in the cold air. "It's coming," he said, pointing east. Mara squinted, nothing but mist. Then a flicker, a distant, unnatural glow. Illy turned to her, his eyes too old for his face. "We can't outrun it." Mara hugged him fiercely, her tears hot against his hair. Below, the first tendrils of smoke curled above the tree line, not from torches, from the sky.